In relation to that story, and also as elections kick off, we do turn it to speak to the Center for Constitution and Governance, ED, Sarah Bireete, for what we are likely to face as Ugandans vote to come 2021. Welcome to NTV at 1.
Thank you, Sandra.
Well, in your own view, how should an election held under the rule of law look like?
An election is supposed to be free, fair, and credible. And how are people supposed to tell whether an election is free, fair, and credible? It should be transparent. It should be governed by known rules and regulations. You know, the rules of the game should be clear to all stakeholders. And there should be peace for everybody to organize, to canvass for support, and peace for voters to freely elect leaders of their choice.
Well, when you saw the nominations, what are your thoughts on what happened on Tuesday? To be specific, did you see us having a possibility of a free and fair election come 2021?
Well, as the Chairman Electoral Commission said, security is interfering with the credibility of elections, the organization and conduct of elections. They dehumanized two presidential contenders. You know, in a normal country, if a person has stepped forward to contest for presidency, he should be looked at, he or she, as a possible incoming commander-in-chief. And the security forces know how they should conduct themselves as a person who is likely to become their next commander-in-chief. So for the police to attack the FDC headquarters and kidnap the President General of FDC, and produce him at a nomination venue in a dehumanizing manner was embarrassing to this country, was unfortunate, and cast doubt on the credibility of the elections that the EC Commission and members are struggling to put together. Then the arrest of Bobi Wine immediately after nomination, the interference with his program to launch his manifesto, and the continued attack, of course, on NUP and the People Power members is targeted harassment on Bobi Wine and his supporters. We all know that Mr. Kyagulanyi is most likely the biggest crowd puller in these upcoming elections. So when people see the jubilations, as for example, he was coming to be nominated, every town was jubilating in Uganda. So some people who are scared of a transparent process and peaceful transition of power cannot stand seeing such scenes. So they master plans to interfere with the process, where I think the Commission is trying their best, given the the interference with COVID pandemic. But security agencies who are supposed to work under the directive of Electoral Commission on electoral activities are usurping the powers of the Commission, are making the Commission redundant and idle and disorganized, and are discrediting the whole electoral process in this country.
Speaking of the Electoral Commission, what should they now do to ensure that we have a free and fair election come 2021? That is one. And secondly, is it even possible to actually, as a country, Uganda, to have a free and fair election? Is there a chance? Or are we just wasting our time?
You know, you wouldn't blame anybody who would conclude with your last comments. But if you look at the conduct of our security forces, and if you look at the preamble of our constitution, saying that our political history is characterized by tyranny, you know, political instability, we have seen forces that were previously admired as professional, especially the UPDF, which was largely credited as a professional army, is quickly turning into a force of tyranny in this country. It's very unfortunate, and I think even the commander-in-chief should be concerned by the conduct of his army, if at all he's bothered about securing the future of Uganda like the slogan he has launched.
Briefly, tell us also, we know you and other NGOs have been struggling with the NGO Bureau over an election observer coalition. What is the latest on this?
The NGO Bureau issued a directive on 30th October, which is not founded in law. The NGO Act has no provision whatsoever requiring NGO members to register loose coalitions in this country. There is no such law in Uganda. So the directive they issued on that day is illegal, is not founded in the act that governs them, is outside their mandate as established in the NGO Act 2016, and they are usurping the functions of Parliament by making laws in this country, which they don't have, and also usurping the functions of the Electoral Commission by deciding who should observe elections or who shouldn't. The Electoral Commission Act is very clear. It gives the mandate of election observer accreditation to the Commission, and the Commission can accredit either individuals or associations or NGOs or institutions, and it's their discretion. So the Bureau has no business to say that individuals, persons, or anybody not registered with them cannot observe elections.
All right, just to cut you short because we are running out of time, thank you, Sarah Bireete, for coming to our studios this very afternoon on NTV at 1. And this conversation will take us in for a short break, but we'll be back with more stories on NTV at 1.